Green building is just one aspect of sustainability. Kasi ang sustainability, when you define sustainability by the Brundtland Commission, it is the ability of the current generation to fulfill its own needs without compromising the needs of the future generation.
Well, for me, green building is a structure, a building that exhibits or exemplifies practices that that is resource. It considers resource management. Like for example, in terms of water efficiency, energy efficiency of that building. So, if for example it checks all the boxes of resource management, like energy and water, etc. For me, it's a green building. It can be literal green building, or it can be a building that exemplifies those criteria or those factors.
So sa akin, ang definition ng isang green building, in a totality, makikita mo at mararamdaman ng building na iyong pinapasok o pinupuntahan is kakaiba sa mga conventional buildings. Bakit? Kasi may mga elemento ito ng sun, wind, water, and earth. Pag sinabi kong elemento, lahat yan is nagko-contribute upang ang isang building is makapag-operate ng naaayon sa kanyang intended purpose. At the same time, tinutulungan niya ang environment upang makaminimize ng kanyang impact. Like the sun, pag sinabi kong may elemento ng sun, nag-a-allow siya ng natural lighting sa isang office. Ang magiging impact nito is mag-lessen ka ngayon ng energy consumption. At the same time, you promote yung natural light sa isang area na kung saan kapag nandun ka sa area na yun, hindi mo na kailangan ng external source ng liwanag. Pag sinabi ko namang air, ito ay of course, hangin na pumapasok from one side of the building going to another. Ibig sabihin yan, ang hangin is malaya siya nakakapasok at nakakalabas. Hindi siya nakocontain sa isang space. So, ang magandang dulot nito, kapag ikaw ay nasa isang green building, is yung ventilation mo or yung hangin is malaya kang nakakahinga ng maluwag. Dahil wala kang elemento ng aircon, or sabihin man natin may air conditioning man system doon sa isang lugar, but the natural air sa isang place is napapalitan or nasisirculate. Pagdating naman sa water, ito ay may kinalaman din sa water conservation. Sinabi ko water conservation, lahat ng elemento na meron sa building, na green building, nagpo-promote siya ng water conservation like sa CR, sa kanyang lababo, pati na rin sa kanyang sanitary systems like toilet bowls. Pag sa earth naman, nagpo-promote ang isang green building ng ecological solid waste management. Meaning, lahat ng mga tao o empleyado man, pagdating sa isang green building, is pinopromote nito na dapat magkaroon ng proper waste segregation na itatabi ang nabubulok, hindi nabubulok, at mga residual na basura.
Ayun, no, currently sa Quezon City, meron tayong existing na 2009 Green Building Ordinance. However, ang 2009 na Green Building Ordinance natin is very limited lang to bigger buildings, usually mga 10,000 square meters and above. Tapos, ang 2009 din kasi na green building is hindi siya mandatory. Parang siya ina-apply siya for the certificate, then they can use the certificate to avail in tax incentives. So basically, that's the 2009 Green Building Ordinance, no?
Actually, sa Philippine Building Code, may limitation yan. It only allows 10,000 square meters floor area minimum. Yung mga maliit na bahay, hindi siya sakop. Only the big buildings lang, big projects, na kailangan environmental compliance certificate, tsaka ng environmental impact assessment. Yung mga mall, for example, mga resort, these are big projects na kailangan ng EIA bago issue ng ECC, ng DNR, CENRO, or EMB, Environmental Management Bureau. So ngayon, Pati din sa mga homeowners, hindi siya apektado dyan. Sa mga ordinances na yan, ang apektado lang mga malaking project sa ngayon.
Green building ordinance would affect the building owners in such a way na magiging, di naman pabigat, pero parang another burden sa kanila kasi they have to comply. Maganda siya in a way na may benefit siya in ecologically. Pero pagdating sa building owners, magiging burden siya unless kung bibigyan sila ng incentives.
Nung una itong pinatupad, yung Green Building Ordinance, of course, sa mga property owners, building developers, ang isa sa mga concern nila is yung cost or halaga ng pagpapatayo ng isang green building. Bakit? Kasi ang mga materyales na ginagamit sa isang green building is hindi siya conventional. Meaning, kakaiba siya dahil for example, kung gagamit ka ng isang concrete hollow blocks, ang presyo nito ay mas mura kumpara sa isang green building technology na similar din in nature, like sabihin natin eco bricks. So, doon pa lang, ang magiging isang factor na nagiging concern ng mga building owners and developers is the cost. Pangalawa, ang isa sa mga nagiging challenges or nagiging apekto sa isang building owners kapag sinabi mong green building is yung tedious process ng pagpapacertify ng isang green building. Kasi ang bawat proseso nito, from the planning stage, construction, operation, and waste management ng isang building is ginagawan siya ng proper documentation or proper procedure para masabi ngayon na isa siyang green building.
Nakwento mo yan ng maayos, nabigyan mo sila ng cost, at nakikita nila, uy, maganda yung tinatawag nating ROI or return on investment. They will bite it, especially right now, some government projects are going or leaning towards sustainability, such as the first sustainable area na alam natin, di ba, yung wind sa Ilocos, di ba? So, they thought of that.
Alam mo, it all boils down to the pera. Practicality. Kasi honestly, when you have green building kasi, yung upfront cost mas mahal, 3% to 10%. If the project is 1 billion, bahay ito eh. Pero mga malaking project, 1 billion, 100 million, o mga 30 million. Pero, again, if you look at the life cycle analysis, life cycle costing, makakatipid ka sa operations. Yun na dapat ikukwant. It all boils to money matters pa rin. Okay? Doon papasok itong sustainability, yung operations niya. Kasi walang kwenta yung yung green features mo kung hindi siya, di ba? So, yun na talaga itong embodiment ng green building. Pero sa mga homeowners, siguro, ang masasabi ko dyan, you have to show them money matters, malang matitipid. Dapat talaga, bago pa itayo yung building, dapat well-oriented din yung opening sa bintana mo, ng pinto mo. You have to consider the site. You have to strategize. Pag naman ikaw sa urban area, ano pwede mong gawin kung di ka pa kapagtanim ng puno? Doon ang challenge architect doon sa bagay na yan.
I think one of the factors that will encourage building owners to invest in green buildings is incentives. If we provide certain incentives on, for example, tax holiday or faster or quicker approval of applications on certain permits, like for business, if a building has a commercial component. So I think those things, like definitely the tax holiday or tax breaks, would definitely give a big push for building owners to invest in green buildings. And of course, if you explain to them the benefits of being a green building, like energy efficiency and resource efficiency, so I guess those factors will encourage building owners to invest in green buildings.
From the point of view of an architect, you're helping protect the environment. And of course, you're protecting the health of the people who are staying in the buildings. One of the problems with non-green buildings is that they have box, no, volatile gases that are emitted by materials, and they can actually cause the building to have sick building syndrome. So people are not aware of that, no? So you can help people live better, no?
Ecological benefits. So, sa green building kasi, parang kinocompensate yung yung nawala ecological service. But that's like, halimbawa, may site ka, tapos dati siyang bare land na may mga puno, halaman, tapos may existing na small biodiversity sa loob. But since tinayuan mo nga siya, yung biodiversity na yun nawala. So, kung apply mo siya yung green building, parang nakocompensate yung nawalang ecological biodiversity doon. So, kung a-apply mo siya ng green building, at least na-compensate yung nawala. So, I think doon, yun yung benefits of ecological benefits.
Sa owner side, syempre, ayun nga, may savings. Hopefully, ang target naman is mabawi mo kung ano yung invest mo or more pa. Ayun din naman yung mga selling point ng mga renewable energy, mga solar panel, di ba? Eventually, after X years, mababawi mo yung initial investment mo. Pero, ayun yung mga practical side. Syempre, meron pa rin social, yung pagiging social responsibility mo na yung, kung magpapatayo ka ng building, at least hindi ka maka-affect negatively sa surroundings mo.
Lack of education, minsan nagmamadali sa project, minsan nagmamadali kliyente. Kasi syempre, alam mo, pag green building project, from design to construction, kailangan ng integrated design process. Kailangan mag-usap ang contractor, yung architect, yung client, yung engineer, mag-usap yung supplier, para mabawasan yung errors. Alam mo, pag construction kasi, marami na babago sa design. At maraming costly mistakes na nangyayari. Example, ginawa na ni architect yung floor plan, right? Ginawa ni architect yung floor plan, tapos pinabid na sa contractor, tinatayo na, yung kliyente bigla nagbago isip. O patibag mo yan, palitan mo. Siyempre, during that tibag-tibag process na yan, o may tinatanggal ka, nagkakaroon ng waste of materials, diba?
Actually, when you say barriers, ito yan parang it's a pros and cons situation. Normally, the first con is that it's expensive. They don't see value in it. Sabihin nila, it's an advocacy. It's an propaganda. But in reality, we're experiencing right now. We're having, climate change? Seawater rise? Sa tingin mo, is it a propaganda? No. Kaya nga nagkaroon tayo ng tinawag na UN or the Paris Treaty of UN that tells us that every year, dapat meron tayong at least less than 2 degrees bumababa. But if I were to ask you in a rhetorical question, nagiging malamig ba?
For one, I think one of the main challenge is for building owners to really know its benefits. So the challenge is how to communicate it to the public. So if you communicate it well, definitely people will follow. No? Pag naintindihan nila, mas susundin nila, mas makikita nila yung mga benepisyo ng pagkakaroon ng green building practices. No? So I guess one of the main challenge nga is communicating it to the people. Second, of course, is the costs. Most green building strategies has this high upfront cost. No? Medyo malaki yung investment sa simula. But kasi yung makikita mo yung impact niya in the long run in terms of savings, in terms of resource efficiency. No? So I think that's one of the main challenge, having to invest big upfront. No? Parang yun yung main challenge. No? Parang dati, just to put it in a perspective and a concrete example, before nung nag-start pa lang yung solar panel industries, no, solar energy for domestic use or homes, no, mahal pa talaga ang panels, mahal pa yung mga batteries na ginagamit. So definitely, you need to shell out or fork out a lot of money to have that. But right now, medyo yung acceptance ng public and yung use and yung production ng mga ganung klaseng technology ay very common. So medyo yung cost hindi na ganun kataas. But definitely there's still a cost, no. So cost is or yung maging expense niya upfront that's the main challenge. We had a meeting with Congressman Joman Alba, no, King First District,
ng Bukidnon. We had, kasi yung ano siya yung promoter ng bamboo, no? Kasi we had a workshop there during the Philippine Green Building Day no September 8, nasa Bukidnon kami. We had a workshop sa Bamboo Pavilion niya. And we are the author actually of House Bill 9144. Nasa Congress ako. And we require, nakalagay sa House Bill draft na yun, as a Green AP chair, Green Architecture Advocacy Chair ng Philippines, no? Green AP, matin siya ng Free CPD nun sa Worldex, no? Is the Philippines' oldest green building organization sa buong Pilipinas. So you can follow the Facebook page, no, sa Green Architecture Advocacy Philippines, no? Ang future natin, we are using bamboo. We're exploring bamboo as resource material because it's rapidly renewable. Yun ang direction ngayon. And sa House Bill 9144, i-require na ang bamboo practical education sa BS Architecture and BSc Curricula. So, nakalagay sa huli namin technical working group, no, iakit na sa Senate kasi yon. Tapos, i-require na siyang i-offer sa CPD program for architects and engineers. Kumbaga, the third is a building permit. Kapag may gagamitin ng wood sa construction, dapat it should be replaced by a certain percentage with bamboo. Yon ang nilagay namin doon. Even sa board exam, itatanong na rin siya. But the problem is the supply chain. Kahit na mag-enforce ka, kung wala ka naman kung supply, yan ang kulang natin eh. Hindi nyo ba alam na sa DepEd, yung mga school desk, kailangan may percentage ng bamboo na? Nire-require na. Problema, kulang supplier.
Approve na po ba yan?
Ay, meron ng memo, DepEd, meron ng memo na, hindi ba, school desk natin, di ba, kahoy. So, dapat, may certain percentage, bamboo na dapat ang materials. Problema lang, cost is prohibit. Kumbaga, hindi siya ganun ka-sustain, ganun siya hindi pa ganun ka-feasible. The logistics, ang sinasabi natin, supply. Kahit naman meron ng polisiya, kulang naman ang supply natin.
Yes, sir.
Yun ang nakita kong future siguro, siguro, pag desperado na tayo, dumi ng tao, gagawin ng seryoso, totoo ha. Si Bill Gates, no, for example, he did a research about reclaiming water from the human feces, no, yung dumi ng tao. You have to change the mindset about green building. Kasi remember, like Saudi Arabia, for example, they're using, yung nire-reclaim ni salt water, yung Singapore. Kasi tubig ng Singapore, naka-base sa Malaysia. So, ginawa na, may technologies na meron sa desalination plant, they use, yung salt water na medyo makapal ng tubig nun, di ba? As their source of water. At marami pang iba. Like, mga trend na yan, yung technology nila, advance sila eh. Yung may mga insekto kumakain ng basura. Yung mga ganun ba? You have to use, nature as part of the solution. Alam mo sa akin lang, hindi ang pinaka-trend dapat dyan is that you have to use nature as part of the solution. Yung engineering ang solusyon. Nature talaga. Example, the Yolanda, yung storm surge, di ba? Ang unang tingin mo, mga storm surge Yolanda, magtayo ka ng concrete levee or engineering solution. But again, pwede ka maglagay ng mangrove eh. Di ba? It slows down I think that's the way I see it in the future dapat, people should understand how nature behaves, its limitation, because if you don't understand nature, if you impose engineering solution over nature, natingin lang natin sa kanila is parang last resort lang sila. Babalikan tayo nun. Dapat we have to understand the limitation of nature talaga.
Okay.
So, ganon. At saka ito pa, itong kalsada natin, kaya tayo binabaha kasi we don't understand how water cycle behaves. No? Kasi syempre, umuulan. Yung Ondoy, no? Binahatin Ondoy, di ba? Nung 2009. At binahang Marikina. Marikina is a floodplain kasi technically all of the concrete cover, sidewalk concrete yan. If you study the life cycle, pag di mo naintindihan how nature behaves, talagang mangyari, babalik sa ating kalikasan. Ang problema sa kalsada natin, mga sidewalk natin, puro concrete. Uulan, non-impervious ang lupa, concrete siya, the rainwater will proceed to the lowest portion of the land, no? Sa Marikina. Kalbo na kagubatan ng silang binaha. Provident Village, maraming baha. 83 people na kataong namatay, mga 60 plus na kataong namatay. So, dapat talaga, it all boils down to how you understand nature. Yung dapat ang solution talaga long term. People should go back there. Alam mo, the solution is found on understanding how nature behaves. Hindi porket green ka, puro advanced technology lalagay mo. Kasi kahit maglagay ng solar panel dyan, at dumating ang bagyo at lipad niyan, walang kwenta yan. Kaya nga, isang bagong component sa green building should be disaster resiliency. Yung pa, dadagdag ko yan, it should be disaster resiliency. Kasi nga, we are in the times of nasa VUCA tayo, volatile, uncertain, so forth, complex period na.
Actually, meron na tayo ng Green Building Code. It is a referral code attached to the National Building Code 1096. And meron din mga green building code yung ibang cities. For example, Mandaluyong has, I think Quezon City has. I'm not sure about Makati, but I think there are about 5 already have. No? And eventually, all the cities should have green building ordinances. Ordinance, no? Kasi meron na tayong Philippine Green Building Code, pero ang tingin ko, hindi pa siya actually naman na-i-implement eh. Hindi siya mandatory, no? Pero yung code, Green Building Code para sa mga different cities, mas imposed, kumbaga, no? So, unti-unting dadami yung mga city or even municipality na nagkakaroon na ng compliance sa green building practices. So maganda 'yon kasi eventually, siyempre, makamenos ng damage sa environment, will have better health in buildings, no? At siguro in some cases makakatipid yung yung magtatayo ng building when we learn how to apply green building practices the proper way, and at the same time using economical methods. No?
Favor ka ba, sir, na mandatory implementation ng green building code?
Ako medyo ambiguous ang aking stand dyan eh. There are certain rules that can be difficult to to comply with. Pero yung mga generally applicable, dapat maging mandatory. No? Pero depende yun sa code ng ng city or municipality.
Well, for one, I think the national government should be the role model or example and push further green building codes and include green building strategies or resource efficiency strategies on its policies and frameworks so that local governments will follow suit because, of course, they are the ones who will implement these ordinances locally, on their jurisdiction. And I think having that as a enabling environment will enable the policies on the local level to flourish. No? So ibig sabihin niyan, parang lahat ng local government units will follow suit. No? If they will see the impact or the benefits that they will get. No? I think yun nga, as I mentioned in the previous questions, communication is the key. If this is well communicated to the public, to our local chief executives, to our decision makers, and of course to the public, they will accept it. No? Pag naintindihan naman natin, doon natin siya tatanggapin. So I guess for in the future, I do expect LGUs to really delve into policies like, for example, ordinances on green building. Kasi they see the value of it. They understand, they're really aware about it, and they understand deeply the benefits and that this will entail for the people and, for example, the community of building owners.
Ayun, sa akin, the way I envision it is, eventually, mano-normalize natin. As we all know, sa mga recently, nararamdaman na natin yung effect ng climate change, no? So, what I envision it is magiging norm na siya na lahat ng building is eventually magiging green building. Possibly in the process, no? Kasi medyo parang pa rin yan law of supply demand. Kaya tayo gumagawa ng mga ordinance ngayon para makapag-create ng demand. So, magkaroon lang din ng development sa kung ano meron tayo ngayon. For example, renewable energy, yung mga solar panels natin available. Usually, yung pinaka-efficient na, yung pinaka-mataas na rating, kapag nagkabit ng isang mall niyan, usually ang kaya lang na i-provide na energy niyan is about 1% ng total consumption. Pero mapapaisip ka rin, syempre, hindi rin makapag-progress yung industry ng solar panels kasi wala rin masyadong demand for that. Wala rin masyadong sales. So by having green building ordinances sa city na nagre-require ng mga ganitong features, nakapag-create din tayo ng demand. Therefore, yung na-encourage din yung development ng mga ganitong technologies. So, ayun, that's how I envision yung magiging green building ordinances ng mga cities and municipalities sa Philippines.
Sa nakikita ko sa hinaharap pagdating sa green building sa Philippines, malaki ang potential niya para ma-promote. Meaning, lumaki siya or mag-grow sa community natin. Marami naman pong nag-conduct ng mga green building studies na ay napoprove naman nila na malaking epekto ang pagtatayo ng isang green building. At the same time, kung malaki man ang epekto niya, malaki rin po ang balik. Meaning, the return investment is proved to be fruitful pagdating sa isang green building. Ang nagiging challenges na siguro in the future sa ngayon is yung mga dating building na luma pa rin, na stay pa rin sila sa conventional buildings. But through the use din ng mga green technologies, unti-unti na rin naman sila nag-evolve. Hindi man in the process of agarang pagta-transform, but kumbaga paunti-unti na nag-a-adapt na rin sila ng green building technology. Kasi nakikita nila yung magandang epekto ng green building technology. Una, sa pagtitipid sa pagdating ng cost ng operation, sa electricity and sa water. So, malaking bagay siya in terms ng sa operation ng isang building. Pangalawa, yung magandang epekto niya sa mga nakatira or kung sino man yung nag-ookupa ng building na yan. So, magandang epekto rin siya pagdating sa mga nag-occupy ng building na patuloy sila magpunta sa green building. Dahil, kumbaga, hindi sila nagkakaroon sila ng kakaibang pakiramdam in a way na kumbaga nagiging positibo sila towards their output pagdating sa trabaho.
Kung meron kang idea or about green building code, kung naituturo ba ito sa school?
Yung Design 7 po namin, kay Dr. Randy po. Since taga-Singapore po siya, na-discuss na po sa amin yung about sa LEED certification or green building. Actually, pinopromote din yung sa mga design po namin since parang ina-align na yung standard sa Singapore. So, yun yung mga mostly na nagkaroon ako ng idea sa green building. Pero yung mas deeper na turo po din, wala po sabi.
Bali, ang so far po, pagkakalam ko sa Green Building Code is approach po into sustainable building, which is, ayun po, bali, ang kailangan po natin i-consider is yung reduce po of carbon emission kapag nag-design po tayo. Ayun po yung basically na pagkakalam ko sa...
Okay lang ba sa'yo na mandatory yung implementation sa lahat ng mga buildings dito sa Metro Manila?
For sa tingin ko mas better po kasi so far po kasi as kasi yun, mga standard, mga first world countries, or guys sa Singapore, yung mas madami silang mga LEED certified na buildings. And I guess pagka ginawa siyang mandatory, mas lalo magiging sustainable yung future natin. Mas lalo na, kaysa naman yung iba nga lumalabag pa sa batas nila, tapos kung hindi pa siya sustainable, ano na lang mangyayari in the future?
Yes po, since sa palagay ko, makakatulong sa, ayun nga po, since may yung global warming, ganun, matutulungan itong ma-reduce yung ganun klaseng problema po dito sa mundo po natin.